everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor. Thank you so much for joining me for part 2 of our weekend house calls. Yesterday, we went through so many questions. It was fantastic. We went through questions on high blood sugar, PCOS. We went through juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, basically a mystery autoimmune-based issue. We went through thyroid-based issues. We went through overnight fasting, improving digestion. What else did we go through? We went through acne, and we went through a little detective case. I showed people essentially how I practice in my integrative practice. Functional medicine is one part of it, but the integrative-based practice, I liked sharing that with you as well. So that was a lot of fun. Today is no different. We've got a bunch of great questions. And since we're a couple weeks into this, I think people that submitted their questions that will be answered today, they came in about 4 to 5 weeks ago. So I want to make sure we answer as many as possible and just kind of respect everyone's time. So without further adu, let's get right into today's first question. It is coming from Tania. Tania is asking, or Tania, 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 something like that. She writes, or he writes, "Hello, Stephen. I have been diagnosed with Hashimoto's and was wondering what test is the best one to take from your lab to help me lead a healthier life and get off Synthroid for good. I'm taking different Synthroid doses on alternate days and still feel tired and have cold hands and feet. I'm hoping you can help me. Regards, Tania." Okay, so we can absolutely help you with this. We help people with Hashimoto's all the time, literally all the time, because it's an autoimmune issue. And because it's an autoimmune issue, we're able to work on the underlying causes that cause the autoimmune-based issue. Okay, so who can get off thyroid medication and who can't? Well, most people should be able to wean. Remember, the key word's wean. We don't stop the thyroid medication. We get the thyroid functioning better, and once your levels start to go way down, like in the ones and then maybe even a little below 1, then we start to wean off the medication. You can do that with your PCP. Okay, so here's the deal. Who can't get off thyroid medication? Those people where their autoimmune issue may have actually destroyed their thyroid. There might be no thyroid left, and if there's no thyroid left, well, then it's going to be hard to actually produce those hormones, thyroid hormones we're talking about. Okay, so assuming you have a thyroid and assuming we can get it functioning, which I truly believe that we can, this is how we're going to do it. You know, there's 2 great labs. Okay, there's the thyroid adrenal hormone lab. That's always my first pick. It really is. Because the thyroid, you have to go back and listen to the podcast on how the adrenals affect the thyroid. And I'll see if I can find that. Why don't I see if I can link that up? I have no idea where it is, what number it is, but I'll just put in my notes here. Adrenal and thyroid. Okay, I'm going to link that up. We'll see if my team can find that out of the 786. Today, all the show notes, all the links are at stephencabral.com/786. So if you want to see everyone's questions, if you want to see all the labs that I link up, the products, the technology, the gadgets, the research, whatever it might be, check out that page and just go to stephencabral.com/786 for today. Okay, so we're going to link that up. I do recommend the thyroid adrenal hormone lab. And the reason I recommend that is so often it's the high cortisol levels affecting the thyroid. I mean, really, that's a big thing. However, let's say you run your cortisol before and you don't think that that's it. Well, the complete thyroid panel is amazing. It tests the T4, the T3, the TSH. It tests for the antibodies, but it also looks at if you are low on all the minerals that boost the thyroid. And check out my thyroid show if you haven't checked that out on the 4 minerals that your body needs, or the 4 toxins, and then also the 2 minerals that your body needs to boost thyroid. So check those out. And on that complete thyroid also looks at the toxicity. So maybe you have high cadmium levels, maybe you have high arsenic levels. So both those tests are amazing. How can you do both? Okay, well, here's the deal. You can actually run the adrenal hormone panel separately and then run the complete thyroid. That would be literally the best way to look at everything. So if you want to do that, if you want to just say, hey, once and for all, I want to look at everything that can be affecting my thyroid, that's what you would do. You would run the adrenal hormone and then you'd run the complete thyroid. That would be a great way to go about it. And then you could simply do a follow-up with your TSH with your PCP. Okay? Or, of course, you can rerun them with us, but that's an easier way to save you money. That is exactly what I would do. What happens is you run the lab, well, we ship you the lab, you do it right at home. You get the results back. I get the results in about 3 weeks. I read over all the labs. I give my recommendations to my amazing health coaches, and then you do a 30-minute call with them going through a plan that's built just for you. So we do that with every single lab that's purchased through stephencabral.com. It's our way of, I believe, trying to keep costs down because the health coaching call is included with your lab, which I don't know anybody else that does that. We do it because we know that you'll have questions, and we don't want to just give you the plan. We want you to be able to ask questions on that call. So I just think it's a great thing if you're not able to be a part of the concierge practice. That's it. So that's what I feel is the best thing for people. Okay, Joyce is up next. Thank you so much for all you do. I love listening to the podcast and do your daily protocol. Joyce, that's fantastic that you're doing it. I also drop vitamin D and occasionally your CBD oil. I exercise daily during the week and eat clean. I generally feel awesome. I'm in my 50s. Some say I look like 40s. Anyway, in the past few years, I've become less and less tolerant to alcohol. 1 glass a night, not every night, and party occasions, 2 glasses. Most times I drink. I will wake up at 2 a.m. with a bad headache, eye, and neck ache, which will last 24 hours no matter what I do. Is it possible I've developed alcohol sensitivity? I've really stopped drinking because of this. However, when I do have the occasional glass, I really pay a price. Thank you for your thoughts. Okay, so much going on here. So many reasons for this. But I'm super happy that you're following the podcast first and foremost. Just love that people are tuning in. It's literally my favorite thing that I do is teach on this podcast. That's it. I've always wanted to be a teacher. Everything I've always done in life has basically been teaching. And I just truly enjoy it. And I'm glad that you're getting a little out of it. Great that you're doing the Dr. Cabral Daily Protocol. That's obviously what I do every single day, which is why it's named that. You're doing your vitamin D, you're doing your CBD oil, you're exercising, doing all those things, and you're feeling great. So I'm super happy about that. Now let's talk about the alcohol. Okay. You said I'm in my 50s. Okay. So that, again, I get some of that. You're doing alcohol, let's say 5 nights a week, not 7 nights a week. All right. Well, here's the deal. As we age, let's talk about women specifically. As you age, specifically alcohol, especially red wine, can start to increase estrogenic levels. Now, if your progesterone and all your hormones are falling, but we're increasing estrogen through red wine specifically, well, you're going to feel much worse. If you were to switch to something like tequila, it's funny that I recommend tequila in my practice, but I really do all the time. So if someone's going to drink alcohol, tequila, I always go to just do tequila, do the Patron Silver. It's so funny that, again, I'm recommending specific alcohol. But Patron Silver is actually aged, or it's not aged at all. Okay, so that's the biggest thing. So it's low in histamines, okay? It's also gluten-free. It's also a cleaner, clearer alcohol, and it's not done in oak or wood barrels, so there's less allergies. So now you can say my naturopath recommended I drink tequila, specifically Patron Silver. But if you were to do that, just have 1 margarita, okay? Your margarita is going to be the lime juice, and it's going to be your Patron Silver, and it can be whatever you'd like to add with that, a little soda water, whatever else you want, okay? So here's the deal. You're going to say, with one of those the next day, do you still feel the same? Because maybe it was the alcohol that you were drinking, okay? But the second is this. As we age, we have less buffers. We have less enzyme buffers, and we have less mineral-based buffers. The next factor is that genetics. Genetics play even more of a factor as we age because, again, we don't have as much of that buffering system. So our epigenetics, meaning like diet and environment, become a bigger factor. They're just less so. We're more resilient when we're younger, but our genetics rear their ugly head as, in a good or bad way, as we start to get a little bit older. Again, but if we control diet and we control lifestyle, well, then we don't have to deal with any of those things. Okay, that's one. But also keep in mind, you gave me a really good indicator saying that you get an eye ache, that your eyes hurt. So what could that be? Well, that's actually can be your liver, especially if it's the right eye. So there's a lot of anecdotal evidence. I can't say that I know of any clinical base, but a clinical base, yes, from clinical practice, but not from, let's say, a placebo or double-blind placebo-based study or anything like that, is our liver actually has to process all the poisons of the alcohol, because if it didn't, we would die, okay? So our liver's there decontaminating the alcohol that's now in our bloodstream, okay? And it's doing that until it's clean. Well, our liver, especially after 50 years, can start to get a little congested, right? So here's what I'm going to recommend. I'm going to recommend a 14 or maybe even a 21-day Dr. Cabral detox, okay? So we're helping the liver. We're supporting it the whole time. We're getting off alcohol, and then you're going to have a day or two off of it, and then you can try that margarita that I just talked about. Join the Cabral support group. Go to cabralsupportgroup.com. I would love to hear if this worked for you. All right. Just one more point. The Dr. Cabral detox is a liver detox. It supports the liver. It helps to clean the blood, clean the body to a much better degree. So hopefully that helps, Joyce. All right. Michelle's up next. Michelle's asking, hello, I just want to ask a quick question regarding nutritional programs. I recently reviewed my holistic nutrition certification. I'm looking to expand that. I was wondering if there are programs or certifications for nutrition and holistic health in general that you think are most beneficial. Thank you so much. Okay, Michelle, great question. I've answered this before. I actually recommended Precision Nutrition, which is a good one. I've recommended a bunch before. So just actually type in nutrition program or nutrition certification at stephencabral.com/podcasts, and you'll find it there. A couple others that I think are great if you're already certified in nutrition, to maybe look at the Institute for Functional Medicine, their functional health coach, or the Functional Medicine University. Those are pretty good programs that people are enjoying. I did the Institute for Functional Medicine practitioner. That's what my mentor did, and I basically just kind of followed in her footsteps. But now they have a great health coaching one, and you do not need to be a licensed or board certified practitioner, meaning like you don't need to be a nurse or a naturopath or an MD or a chiropractor or acupuncturist, because you have to be to go into the program that I was in. But again, need to do that. Like, you don't need to do that. You can do the functional medicine coaching, which is great. And also, and those are more lab testing, but again, it takes your education to the next level. They're quite expensive, but again, knowledge is worth it, especially if this is going to be your field. And then I'm super excited about this. It's been a while, right? It's been a while since I've been this excited, probably since I came out with the Dr. Cabral Detox, that I've been this excited about launching something. But I'll say this fall, I will actually be creating my first certification just by popular demand. I mean, I get at least 6 requests a week saying, can I either come and intern with you? Can I study under you? Do you have a certification? Any of these things. So, these things are created because you ask for it, and I think it's great. And so my job, again, is to teach. That's it. It's just to teach. And so that's what I'm hoping to do. I'm hoping it's this fall, and it's going to be for practitioners, okay? It's going to definitely be for health practitioners. There'll be 3 different levels. It's not going to be the crazy expensive price of these other ones, which the other ones are usually like $5,000 to $8,000. Ours certainly will not be that much, because I want it to be for everyone. I mean, that's the goal. So it's going to be practitioners, but it's also going to be for families, meaning that I want to go back to the days where every family had a medicine man or medicine woman. Like, I want that. I want every community to have one of those people where like you become the go-to person, okay? So you don't have to be a nutritionist. You don't have to be a functional medicine practitioner or coach or any of these things. You can do the certification that I'm coming out with, and you can just do the level 1, okay? And you can do the level 1, and that will allow you to be that person who can teach your family. So family first, get yourself healthy, get your family healthy, and then start to teach the greater community. Teach your coworkers, do a lunch and learn at work, like all of these things. And then, of course, it's going to be a little bit more in depth for health practitioners. So, and for health practitioners, there'll be a level 2 and level 3 as well for how to read labs and how to use those labs in your practice if you choose to do that. So, really excited about this. I never thought that I'd be doing this, but this is just a natural progression of what we're doing online. And so I'm very, very excited about that. All right. So hopefully that answers your question, Michelle. Next up is Denise. Denise is asking, I know you said that some people cannot get better because they hold on to anger. Do you think it could be a problem with Epstein-Barr virus? I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I think it was triggered by Epstein-Barr virus. When I get stressed, I think it might be triggered. I was on autoimmune paleo for 2 years, and I was doing okay and slowly improving. Then under a stressful situation, I had rheumatoid arthritis triggered again. Now I'm having problems stopping the reaction. If I try to alkaline my diet to help it some, I'm still having inflammation problems. I'm also very cold all the time, and my body temperature shoots up and wakes me up. My lymphatic system does not seem to be working well. Any advice, please let me know. I love your podcasts and listen all the time, hoping to figure it out. I've tried to work with some functional medicine people and had some testing done, but it did not help much. Then I added sunflower oil and vitamin B and did see some improvement. My hand joints are very deformed. Is there anything I can do to stop it from getting worse? I have a lot of pain in them now. Can you tell me why they continue to become deformed? Please help. Your number 1 fan, Denise. All right, Denise, let's give you an overview on rheumatoid arthritis. I've spoken about this before on the show. I know we're 786 deep, but I truly believe we don't have nothing but time, right? We all have nothing but time. So if you can go to, I think I just lost my place. Yeah, 786 right there. 786. Okay. So if you can listen to doing anything in your car, during your lunch, walking around, if you can go back and listen to previous episodes, you're going to accumulate this knowledge, especially if you're a practitioner or you want to be the medicine man or medicine woman in your family or community. Okay. Go back and listen. It all starts to make sense. It's a giant puzzle. And we just need to look at all the pieces. Okay. The difference with my practice is this. There's a lot of different pieces always, but I'm looking at the top of the puzzle board, the box that it came in. I know the different pieces, and now I'm just saying, oh, this is out of place, this is out of place, this is out of place, I'm missing this one. And I just know where to reach for it. But I do that by looking at lab tests. So Denise, we're going to do a couple things. One is with this deep of a case, I'm absolutely recommending the Big Five. I can't not recommend the Big Five for you. I know you've worked with some functional medicine people, you ran some lab testing, you probably have some of these already done, okay? So just run the ones that you haven't done. If you haven't done the thyroid, hormone, adrenal, run that. You have cold body temperature, we need to look at your thyroid, okay? So we're going to look at that, especially in your symptomatic days. Check it out then. All right, what else do we want to do? We want to look at your omega-3 levels, so that's a great one to run. We want to run a hair tissue mineral analysis to make sure there aren't large amounts of heavy metals. But I do agree with you that emotions can be playing a huge factor. I myself didn't truly get well until I started to get my brain under control, my thought process under control. I had to start to rewire my conditioning, okay? My conditioning of who I was, how I grew up, the mindset I had no longer served me. Not only that, it was actually hurting me. So I had to make the decision, if I want to get well, I need to change who I am. I literally need to change the way I think. Because right now, I look at the world as good and bad. I just judge everything. I judge myself. I judge others. I'm very harsh on myself. I have times where I talk positively and then times when I talk really negatively. I say negative things to myself. I get angry about how other people are acting in my life, like any of those things, okay? All things that I may not be able to control. So Denise, I need you to work on this from both a mental and a physical-based perspective, how your psychology is affecting your physiology and your physiology is working your psychology. Okay, so I want you to work with either a therapist or a coach. I want you to work with maybe just a transcendental meditation-based practitioner. I want you to do something that works for you to start to get you into a better place. Listen to my Mindset and Motivation Mondays, okay? Think about journaling. Think about all of these practices. And then we want to rebalance your body because for sure, your immune system is not where it should be, right? And I agree. Epstein-Barr virus can be a trigger for rheumatoid arthritis. You're absolutely right. Totally agree with you. But what else is going on? Is there other gut issues? Are there heavy metals? Are there psychology-based things? Like what else? Because sometimes there's multiple factors. Are there parasites? I just want to look at what's going on. And if you got some improvement with an autoimmune-based diet plan, great. And if you got some improvement with the B vitamins, great. So what we need to do, though, is really need to get down to the bottom of this because we have the physical component and we have the mental component, and we know that the anger, the fear, the depression can weaken the immune system. That's clinically proven. That is literally clinically proven. So work on both healing the mind and the body. If you run any labs through us, of course, we're going to be able to get you, obviously, the plan that you need. But this is an in-depth case. You might actually want to think about applying to our concierge practice and working with one of our great health coaches. And I'd be happy to help along with that as well. So hopefully that helps, Denise. All right, let's get in another question. JD's up next. Hey, Dr. Cabral, I just started listening to the podcast at the beginning of this year. I love it. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. So I'm a 31-year-old male, and I've been getting pimples under my skin for quite a while now in places like my jawline and behind my ear and the side of my nose. As soon as I try to pop them, they swell up to double the size. Sometimes it feels like I'm walking around with golf balls attached to my chin. I also wash my face once a day. Just hoping you could give me a few reasons why it happens and maybe how to stop them. Cheers. Okay. So JD, tune into yesterday's podcast, yesterday's house call. The very first question goes through this. Okay. Very first question. I want to ask you a bunch of things and I want you to give the answer basically to yourself. Does your skin ever get good for a week or two at a time? If so, is it a change in environment? Do you stop exercising? Are you on vacation? Are you less stressed? Or do the foods eat differently? Meaning, like, do you not eat ice cream? Do you because this could be food-based, like you can run a food sensitivity test. This can be actually a lymphatic-based issue because you're getting them behind your ear and there's lymph nodes right behind the ear area, back of the neck ear. And so what would I do? Well, I would certainly do dry brushing. I would do a facial-based massage, and I would massage down the neck to move that lymphatic system. I would absolutely do an infrared sauna or just sauna in general. Little light cardio just to sweat some of this out as well. I would check out my podcast. Just go to StephenCabral.com and type in mask, M-A-S-K, or facial, F-A-C-I-A-L. Hopefully that's how you spell facial. Because I did a podcast on how to actually create a mask using French green clay or bentonite clay, two easy things. That's just going to help pull the bacteria out. I talk all the time on the podcast about using diluted GSE drops, so Maximum GSE, the citricidal drops, or tea tree oil on the acne. One reason that they swell up to double the size is because when you go to pop them, you're actually pushing. So the bacteria is a bubble under the skin, and then it erupts through the skin. But when you go to squeeze it, it actually pushes the bacteria also back down under, and that causes the bacteria to actually go under the skin at the same time. Plus, well, you're causing actual damage to the skin itself. So, I mean, there's a time and a place, but I certainly wouldn't squeeze it with your fingers. You could use a hot washcloth, put it over the face, and see if that allows the pimple to kind of erupt and open up, and just use hot compresses to open those up. I would wash your face twice a day, but I would wash it not with a drying based. I would find out, again, for your skin, what works best for your skin. I might do an oil cleansing. Again, if you have super dry skin, I might use a coconut soap if it's drying. I might use an oatmeal soap if your skin's a little bit more oily. So there's a bunch of things that you can do, but this should definitely get you started. And then what else would I do? Well, hands down, I would run an organic acids test, okay? And then if money allows, I would run an adrenal hormone test to look at your testosterone levels, cortisol levels, those types of things. Okay. Third thing is, if you can do one more, would be the food sensitivity test. Okay. That's what I would do, because we'll also give you our food recommendations for you, which is probably going to be eliminating dairy for 3 weeks to see if that could be it. Okay, one more thing. After you run the lab test, then I would do a 21-day Dr. Ball detox. If your acne clears up on the 21-day Dr. Ball detox, it's your diet, all right? It's your diet. It's what's going on in your life if that's the only thing that changed. Because the Dr. Ball detox helps you to better purify the liver and the blood, and that should help with the acne. So 21-day Dr. Ball detox right after you run one of those labs. Or if you don't want to run any labs, then just do the 21-day Dr. Ball detox. Again, it costs you no more money than typical food would cost, because it's giving you 2 days of all your food out of the 7 days. So you don't have to buy food in those days. And it's giving you all of your breakfast, all of your mid-afternoon snacks for the week. Okay, I'm going to keep it at that for today. And then Luis will be up next week. A lot of great questions. And the next question is a big one. So I'm just going to need quite a bit of time. That will put me well over the 30-minute mark. And I like to keep all the podcasts to right around the 25-minute mark. And actually, one more point. And how did I come up with the 25-minute mark? I polled our community. I thought that people would want shorter podcasts. I honestly thought people would want 10 to 15-minute podcasts. That's what I started out in the beginning. And they started to get a little longer. And then I'm like, oh, these podcasts might be too long for people. You know, I could talk all day, literally, and I do talk all day. But on the podcast, I keep it to 25 minutes. Why? I ask people, so cabralsupportgroup.com. If you aren't a member, it's free. Check it out. It's a free Facebook group, but it's private. It's just for our community. It's just so that we can talk. It's just for all these strange people like us, right? All these people that we're different than other people. We're into our health. We're into healing our bodies naturally. And the truth is, we just need to be around other like-minded people. Like, that's the honest truth. I mean, I hang around with good friends of mine, and they literally ask me questions like, you know, should I not be giving my kid this like cold, conventionally farmed, you know, cow's milk? You know, is it okay if I give my child like X? And I'm, you know, like, it's not their fault. They've never been given the education, but I'm like, wow, like we do things so differently. And I just want to teach everybody, but again, only our community. So that goes back to, how did I come up with that? Well, I asked our group, I asked our Facebook group, and I said, should it be between 10 and 15, 15 and 20, 20 to 25, 25 to 30, or longer than 30? And the majority of people actually said 25 to 30 minutes or longer. And this is a daily podcast. So I'm like, okay, that's great. So 25 minutes is the length. That's what I try to keep it. I try to be respectful of your time, keep it under a half hour a day. And that hopefully will allow you to go back and listen to previous podcasts, because I try never to repeat. Of course, things build upon each other, but I try never to repeat exactly the same topic. 786 shows in, and, you know, still have plenty of topics to talk about. So thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of your listens. I thank you to everyone that's reviewed the show on iTunes. If you haven't, if you're able to go to Cabral Concept on iTunes and just leave a short review, I would really appreciate that. I read every single one of them. So thank you very much. Again, hope you had a great weekend. Feel free to pass along this show to anyone you believe it could help.